Welcome to Freaked Out with your host, the psychic medium, Liz. It's nice to see you guys again, and today we're going to be covering the unsolved case of Joslin Smith. I figured since we had just done the Summer Wells update, because of that, I wanted to talk about Joslin Smith, and we're getting to that point now where her mom is going to be going to court. So we're going to talk about this right here, right now, and I can't wait to share. Now, I do want to mention that in February of this year, I did post a TikTok video, and I got 1.2 million views on that video in relation to Joslin. It was a very small 1-minute video, and ever since then, I've just wanted so badly to bring this kid home, and we're going to give you guys an update because I think it's important. Now, in case you guys are new here, I am a psychic medium and I've been doing readings for over 20 years. In the last 5 years, I've spent a lot more time doing unsolved cases, and I'm going to continue to keep going. I am here to help. I am trying not to hinder or hurt anyone in any capacity. I am trying to give you guys a perspective of what my visions tell you. I've done a really good job thus far, and I'll continue to do so every single week. That's what I'm here for. Now, this episode can be a little bit graphic for certain viewers, so just please make sure viewers' discretion is advised. And also, might I mention, at the end of this week, most likely on Sunday, Landon will be joining me for another prediction video. A lot of you guys in the comments are asking how to be members. Highly recommend going into the membership button, pressing the membership button on your phone, iPad. I would recommend doing it through the computer, and then you'll have access to all of that. There are a few things that I don't want everyone to hear because it can possibly get people angry. So that's why we have the membership side of things to begin with. So let's start off with the critical pieces of this case in case you are new here when it comes to Joslin Smith. On February 19th, 2024, Joslin was reported missing. She actually lived in Deesville in Saldanha Bay, and that is in South Africa. Obviously, people went out searching for her and no such luck. And then Joslin's case got some widespread coverage, which was great. And I think TikTok was one of the bigger platforms that she was posted on. And that is when I came in and did my video, which in my opinion, I feel like I helped in some sort of way seeing this child's face all over the place. I believe that because of how much media that this case got, they decided to bring in the Navy and all sorts of people to try to look for her, which is a good thing. So in my opinion, it was great, but a little bit too late, unfortunately. The one issue that was happening was there was a lot of people just kind of involving themselves in this case, which caused a lot of commotion. And because of that, the case, the attention to actually getting Joslin back was interfered with, and people were not happy. But I get both sides because I feel like the police were not doing everything they could have been doing, and they were distracted by the people instead of just like, letting everybody know this publicly. I just feel like they did this behind closed doors to kind of throw the blame on everyone else for not finding her. Now we're going to talk about her family, which I am so glad that I was never born in that family. And her family is so fucked up. I'm so incredibly angry about it. Now, according to Kelly, and that's her mother's name, she had left her children in the care of her boyfriend. I think his name is Bota, if I'm not mistaken, and I could be messing up the pronunciation completely. Now, she had claimed that she had gone to work and she had come home at about 5 p.m. and started searching for her daughter everywhere, could not find her. And when she asked her boyfriend, he said he didn't know where she was. In fact, he didn't even know that she was there. And according to mom and boyfriend, because she didn't come home by 6 p.m., they started to get really worried. Yeah, seems that way. And apparently he had seen her about 2 p.m. and that she was playing with her friends at that point. And he even went as far as saying, "I'm honest." When you have to remind the crowd that you're honest, you're probably not. But we're going to come back to Slimeball here in a moment. And then Mom had done an interview with the Daily Voice, and this is what she said, and I quote, "We will find her. I will walk on foot to find her. I will look in every little shack. I'm going to do it by myself if I have to." This literally makes me sick to my stomach. Now, as the case carried on, people were becoming extremely suspicious of Mom and boyfriend, and I don't blame them. And then eventually these two ended up getting picked up alongside of their friends. Stavino and Laurentia are the friends, and they all had different sides of the story. Now, from the sounds of it, it looks like one of them flipped on each other, because there's all of a sudden so many more details we could have found useful to actually find this child. Now, this is the more recent story that came out. Now, on Sunday, February 18th, they called to say that she had gone missing, which is fucked up. Apparently, Kelly took Joslin to a white vehicle, and apparently this car was parked near her home on a Sunday because she had to work on Monday. Convenient. Apparently, an unknown woman came out of her vehicle, spoke to Kelly before handing her something. And then this woman ended up going back with Joslin. And then the other piece of information that they have is that this particular same day, Kelly and her boyfriend and the friends were all talking about how they were going to split the money in 4 ways. What? Like, your first thought is how you're going to spend money by selling off a child, but gee, I wonder where she'll end up. You know what I'm saying? Later on, the next day is when they reported her missing. There will be other things that come up in this case. They go to trial on January 31st. So next month, we're going to see all this unfold. And of course, it looks as though both men were the ones who came out and said some stuff. But in reality, yes, he's trying to put it all on Mom, but it wasn't just Mom. In fact, he was the one who initiated this, but we're going to talk about that too. Oh, and there was also some clothes of hers found, and it was splattered with like blood. There was also a knife found. Now, police haven't given any more information than that. And luckily, all 4 of these people were actually charged with kidnapping and human trafficking, thankfully. Now, there is some other things that came out, like Kelly apparently had packed a bag of clothes for Joslin on the 18th, and that was the day before she went missing. And those are pretty much the details of this story as of right now. Almost more than 10 months later, and here we are. No Joslin, no nothing. Not closer to even knowing where she is. It's a wild one. Even with them not getting the money. I mean, clearly they must have got the paycheck, but they're still not sharing information. Like, you could save this kid and you're refusing to do so. That makes you a sick human. Now, let's go over these case details one by one, and I'll tell you all my feels about everything when it comes to this case. And this is not an easy one by any means. Let's go back to before Joslin went missing. Now, Bota and his boy Stavino, they've been doing criminal activity for a long time. The two of them have gotten their hands in a lot of things. More so drug related and possibly some weapons, but more drugs. I feel like they are the ones on the street corners selling drugs to children. How wonderful. I also believe that they had a lot of crooked friends, and these friends would introduce them to other friends that also had crooked empires. From what I gather, both of them have an affiliation with the sex trafficking ring. Maybe not them specifically being involved in it, but they know people that were, and how much money they get from sex trafficking children. I also believe that these guys, if they did not get money for certain drugs, like they would let people, sample it, and then they wouldn't pay them back. I feel like they also would kill people. So they've had their hands in some pretty heavy shit. Now, when it comes to Kelly, she's a soulless human. There's nothing more. I think she's the worst person in this case because she is literally the biological mother of Joslin and decided to just give her child away. I think that's worse than killing your child. Handing your child off to a ring over killing them? Are you kidding me? Oh my God. Anyways, the most evil human. She has zero issues with selling off her children, because then that just makes her get to save a little bit more money in her pocket, totally disconnected from her kids in every possible way. Oh, and did I mention she's also tried to sell off her other children too, but they didn't make the cut, thankfully. I believe that these two, meaning Kelly and boyfriend, I feel like this boyfriend of hers came up with this idea like, hey, we don't want these kids anymore. You don't want to be a mom anymore. We should make some money off of them. And like, I don't even feel like this woman even thought about it more than a minute. It was like, you know what? Yeah, I do need money. And I don't want the hassle of being these kids' mother anymore. So let's do it. I believe that he tried his hardest to be like, we can be living the good life. We can get lots of money. We're going to sell all these kids off because I think it'll be very beneficial for us. And he was talking numbers, and that was just making her more and more excited about it. Now, when it comes to trafficking children, they won't just take any child. The child has to have specific requirements, looks, you name it. And he said that he was going to hand off photos of these children to these people to see if they would make the cut. Now, can I just express that the next part of this just makes me even that much more sick to my stomach? That's when this man decided to take photos of these children. Now, I do believe that he assaulted these kids. I don't feel like it's above him. So he decided, hey, we got to make these photos look inappropriate. And he took naked photos of all of these children. And I like normal photos too, but whatever to sell this child off was what was needed. And this mother just sat by and watched. I still am so disturbed by this woman. I even feel like she helped the child come up with poses for the camera. Oh, anyways, he took these photos to work. And then that's when it was decided. They didn't want the other kids, but they did want Joslin. They gave them a significant amount of money. They were going to give them half the money at one point and then half the money on delivery. I am seeing that it was all set up to happen. Now, I don't know if it happened on the 19th or if it happened the day before, but there was a lot of time between those 2 days that went amiss. For instance, I see that they had about a 2-week plan before that this child was taken. They had set it all up. They were going to meet this person. Now, exactly where they found the clothes that they believed that belonged to Joslin was exactly where this exchange took place. I see that all 4 of them went to take Joslin to do this. And I see that all 4 of them were laughing it up on how they were going to have so much money. And I also see that Kelly told her daughter, hey, you're going to come back and live with us again, but we need money. So we're going to sell your services so that we can get money. I think she was trying to suggest that this child was going to be doing like cleaning services. And that's why they were selling her off. She couldn't even tell the child the truth. I mean, I don't even know. I don't get it. The next thing I see is this black SUV, not white. They could have been in a white vehicle or heading to a white vehicle. There was something there. There's some sort of connection. Maybe there's a secondary vehicle. Maybe they had to get into this white vehicle to go somewhere else. Then they were going to meet this black vehicle. And from what I can see, a woman with red lipstick. She had like a blue blazer on. She was dressed to the nines. Her hair is black and straight. She looks Egyptian. Gorgeous woman. I would say she's about mid-30s and she's very, very tiny. She also has 2 children of her own, which were also present during this exchange. The woman had sunglasses on, came out, handed the money to the mom, told her to get this child changed out of this clothes. They put on a new outfit for her, and then they ripped up this, sliced her hand, and then stuck the stuff outside. And these people, which I think there was also a man 2 men, actually, one more like bodyguard related, and then one that's a driver. The driver never got out of the vehicle. And I see that this woman had let this family know, if you tell anybody about this, we will come looking for you. All of you, including people that you love, which in my opinion, Kelly loves nobody. We're gonna kill you all if you talk about any of this, who I am, whatever the case may be. And they all agreed to this. And then this woman took off with Joslin. Joslin just went with it. Joslin just got in the vehicle and said, bye, mommy, see you soon. Like, this kid is so sweet and innocent and had no bad bone in her body, but she just went ahead and did it anyway for her mom to get money because she just loves her mom so much. And that is the grossest part about this. Her mother did not care what happened to this child, but this child cared about what happens to her mother. Now, I see that this woman that took her, I mean, she's a terrible human being herself. Like, obviously, she's trafficking children. Her children are not being trafficked, but her kids are used as like a pawn to make the exchange of children a lot easier. And from what I get, even this woman was shocked to shit that this was the mother. It did not happen that often that the mothers come along for these, abductions. Normally, they just get random men that are disgusting perverts, need money, that'll say, hey, you want to get this little kid for me? They've never really had any sort of mother offering up their child to a ring. So even this woman felt bad for this child. I feel like this woman is also a product of the ring as well. I think she was brought up in it and totally brainwashed. And one day I'm going to figure out exactly who it is. I believe that the name of this lady, her name starts with a letter M. I see people call her Miss M something. I'm not sure, but it seems like it's a very common word used to describe a woman. So hopefully you guys can help me out there. This particular traffic ring that this woman is associated with, it has Epstein vibes all over it. There are about 4 big rings out there associated with this kind of business in the US. There's many, many around, but there's like 4 big main ones, and they all stem from the US and also other countries, but the US is the main one. And from what I gather, that's exactly where she was. She and Summer Wells both are in the same ring, and they were trying to get her transported as quickly as possible back to the US. From what I know, a lot of people like to take those high profile cases and take them over to the US. Now, the more high profile the case becomes, the more that price tag on that child goes up higher and higher. It's pretty crazy. I see that there are jets, private jets that get these kids from point A to point B. People get paid off, everyone, especially in third world countries. Like, I see that it's very easy to pay off just about anyone to allow a child to be trafficked. It's so crazy. Anyways, the first pit stop I see was Zimbabwe. I see that that's the direction they went. And then I also believe that they traveled all the way to Cairo as well. Now, in Cairo, I think that's the direct flight to the US. I believe that's how Joslin got transferred over to the US. And I also believe that she is in the same house currently as Summer Wells. Now, Summer, unfortunately, had her own, she was sold and picked up, and then due to behavioral issues, she got put back in the home. Now with Joslin, she is very submissive, and I am shocked that she has not been sold yet. But I'm also thinking there is a price tag that maybe isn't obtainable. Either way, I'd prefer her not to be actively attached to being sold to somebody. And I hope that we can go in and find her or this ring anyway. I hope we can get in there. Anyways, if you want to talk about details about where and what I feel on that, make sure to watch the Summer Wells part 1 and 2 that we did a revamping on. And then they put these kids on the black market, and like the eBay of black market, kind of like the crypto side of things. There's like a black market for everything, but there's one for the kids too. As of right now, she has not been assaulted. She's a very submissive kid, very helpful, actually enjoying being in the US because she's not being abused, and she's around a lot of kids at the moment, but they are informing her of what is to come. Now, how does Joslin feel in this whole situation? I mean, she misses her family. She thinks she's doing her family a solid right now, which, I mean, technically she has zero idea of what is going on with her mother, where her mother is at. It's just crazy to me. And I feel as though if this particular case happened in the US, I don't know. I just feel like something different would have happened here. I think Joslin would have been recovered a lot quicker. I don't know why I get that feeling, but it's just something in my gut. She's getting fed. She's getting bathed. She's getting treated better than she ever did in her own house. You know what I'm saying? And that's sad. That's really fucking sad. I believe that they're holding on to her for a reason. There's got to be. I know the price tag is high, but there's something more. Perhaps that they're afraid. It could be this. They are possibly afraid because of the fact that the parents have been picked up. They don't know what they've told the cops, so they're just kind of waiting it out before they decide to let her go. So maybe once after the trial is done, they'll feel okay with allowing her to be sold. Normally, they don't allow people to get sold in the first 6 months, but because of this case being so crazy, they, I guess, extended it. That's definitely got to be what the reason is. When it comes to the trial, they are all going to be staying in prison. We are all going to find out more about this case, more things that disturb you, including like testimonies from like teachers. There's going to be so many disturbing details of how this child was treated. And I even believe that Joslin did share some information in relation to her mom's boyfriend touching her and sexually assaulting her, at least with her friends. There's going to be a lot of information brought forward with this case, and they're not going to be able to get out. And I don't feel like they're ever even going to help their case. They're never going to share these details about the people at all because they're scared of being killed. They would rather this child be thrown around here, there, and everywhere than share any information at all. And if they did, they could be ultimately helping bring down a ring so fast, but no interest in that. They're not getting the money. What is the point of any of this? Why I would prefer, if it was me, not to say I would ever do this, but if it was me and I got to that point, I'd be like, you know what? My life's over. I'm now in jail. I might as well help them out. Maybe other kids can be brought forward to justice. Maybe I can maybe I can right this wrong somehow. Nothing. Like I feel like there's going to be nothing. Soulless creature. And I believe that some people will kill them in jail. Something's telling me something's going to happen in that regard too. I even feel like the judge is going to go off on them, disturbed. It's going to be crazy. But anyways, guys, this is the update that I have on the Joslin Smith case. Next week, we're going to be covering a second revamping. We're going to talk about the Skelton brothers. It's been a while. It's been a couple of years since we've covered that case, and I have a lot more information, especially when it comes to the father on this case. So you guys will not want to miss it. And again, we've got the prediction video on the membership side coming on Sunday. I can't wait to share with you guys. Now, until next time, guys, stay freaked out.